Hello and welcome back to video 4 of Ignite Your Creative Fire. Today we're talking about how to make time for your creative practice. And I want to start with a story about Lisa, who's an amazing copywriter. And Lisa came to me when she was in a place of huge transition in her life. She had recently moved from living near the beach, which she loved, to living outside of Memphis, Tennessee, which she was finding a little bit challenging. She didn't know anyone. It was really hot. It was summertime, and she didn't feel like she could get outside and connect to nature in the way that she had in the past. And she found that her business was struggling a little bit, and she just was really feeling kind of sad and out of sorts and not sure what to do to get her back on track. So we started working together, and what we quickly discovered is that what she really wanted to be doing was to write children's books, and that she wasn't doing all the things that she had been doing to connect to her creativity on a regular basis. And in fact, she was really coming up with a lot of stories that she'd forgotten, things and beliefs that had been hidden inside that kind of kept her off track, like, this is a waste of time, get to work, or you can't make a living doing that. It's selfish to take time for yourself. Your kids, husband, kids, dogs, cats need you. And she realized that she had been raised by two amazing immigrant parents. They were doctors. She's a first-generation American. And that from a young age, she was given a lot of responsibility and had to take care of her sister after school. But her parents didn't value play and creativity as relevant or useful occupations. And so they didn't encourage creative play of any kind, although she found her ways to do that throughout her lifetime. And once she had children of her own, she was able to really give free rein to her own creativity through projects and volunteering and amazing events and telling stories to her own kids that really nurtured her creativity. But kids grow up, as kids do, and go off to college. And suddenly we're left looking, and it makes me sad to even think about this. I have one in college and one that's got about a year and a half left, and I'm going to be an empty nester. And so I'm also thinking about what happens when we have these huge transitions in our lives. Like Lisa, 6 years ago, we moved cross country from Texas to Santa Barbara, California, started a new business, started over in terms of friends and connections and everything. And it's such a time of grieving and loss and beginning, all mixed up. And creative play is one of the things that can bring us back to center. So Lisa and I worked really hard to come up with a couple of simple creative practices that she could do on a regular weekly basis to make sure that she was staying connected to play. And being connected to play really helped her get through this time of transition. So not only did she start writing her children's book again, she started reading for fun, not for business or education, but reading just fun fiction novels. She and her husband started going to see more music and enjoying the area in which she was living. And she started to get new clients because she was able to just make time for herself at a time when she really needed that. And moving is hard, right? It's one of those big transition times that can really take us outside of ourselves, and we don't feel settled or grounded. And so we have to look for ways and opportunities to do that. And when you have stories like Lisa's that say that creative play isn't a valuable use of time, that you get criticized or told to go get something more useful done, it can be this big internal struggle to make time for creative play. And so step 4 in our 4-part process is all about consistency. So it's not about carving out huge chunks of time. It's about committing time daily to creative practice. And that creative practice could take the form. I have one client that's learning to play ukulele, right? That's a great example. I shared I like to journal or to doodle in color. I love to make collage. With Lisa, she loved to read, and that was a form of just a creative breath of fresh air. Other ideas are to dance for 5 or 10 minutes a day, to meditate, or just sit in silence, to take your shoes off and go outside barefoot and put your feet in the grass and just stand and look around you and breathe in the beautiful smells of being outside. Even in the winter, I wouldn't go barefoot, but going outside in the winter, when was the last time you made a snow angel or really looked at your daily schedule through the lens of creative play? So step 4 is about carving out that time. And I would challenge you that you could find 5 to 15 minutes a day in your current daily calendar that you could do this. Even if it's not every day, maybe it's a few days a week. And here's the thing. In order to make time for creative practice, you might find that you have to start saying no to people. You might find that boundaries begin to get tested. It takes courage to claim time for ourselves. As busy individuals, as successful people in our careers, as wives, as moms, as sisters, as daughters, all the things that happen throughout our lifetimes often require us to give to others first. And I would argue that when you give time to yourself first for creative play, and you feel filled up, when you feel like your life is on purpose and has more meaning, then you have more energy to give to others. We can't give from an empty well. And there are so many amazing studies and so much research being done on creativity as a form of healing, as a form of meditation, as a form of therapy. So I would invite you to look at why you want to be more creative. What do you know intuitively that this is going to give you? And how can you find 15 minutes a day in your calendar to make it happen? So remember, it doesn't have to be inordinately long periods of time. It just has to be enough time to get you into that space. And that was how I got started, was a few minutes here, a few minutes there, an hour once a week. I would get together with a girlfriend for a creative play date. And that turned into this whole explosion of creativity that was really kind of unexpected. And I would still channel it to the weekends or channel it to summer vacation. And now I find that if a couple of days go by without some type of creative play, I get kind of grumpy. It becomes like this innate integral part of my life, just like exercise, just like eating healthy, just like all the other things we do for ourselves. Creative play and creative practice is a form of radical self-care that keeps us connected to the core of who we are, that helps us to check in with that plan of action that we set out with those core values that are important to us. So as we've worked our way through our journey so far in this 4-part video, we've looked at clarity, at getting clear about what really matters to you and what form of creative play you might enjoy indulging in. We looked at congruence and how your core values can help you commit to the time and the vision of what it is that you want to do in terms of creative expression. We talked about the importance of having a clear course of action, whether you have a big project in mind or you just want to find those few minutes a day. Having a place to start is really important. And today we looked at why consistency is what matters, because creative play is a form of radical self-care. And it takes consistency to build that habit, to build those muscles. So it's just like any other habit. The more you can combine it with things that you're already doing, the more likely you are to do it on a regular basis. So I shared in video 1 the story of Shannon, who wanted to have a regular creative practice so that she wasn't thinking about all business all the time. And so one of the things she added to her daily practice was, she called it coffee and doodles. And while she was drinking her cup of coffee, she would get on Pinterest, find some doodles to copy, and she would just doodle in her journal for 5 or 10 minutes while drinking her coffee. And she found this was such a peaceful start to her day. I know that I certainly have been so guilty in the past of getting right to work, getting up, getting that cup of coffee, especially because I work at home. It's really easy to go straight to my computer and get to work. But I'm so much happier, and I feel like my day goes so much more smoothly, and I have the ability to make decisions and solve problems faster when I have my regular morning routine, which is doing my journaling, sometimes some doodling, sometimes some collage. I do a lot of reading, my exercise. I have a very clear morning routine, and I am so grateful because I have the luxury of time, because I love to get up early. So I tend to get up 5:30, at the latest 6 o'clock, and give myself a whole hour in the morning to just sit and reflect and to do that in a creative, playful way. So through writing, through reading magazines, through collage, through doodling. So it doesn't look the same every day, but it makes my heart happy. And then I go from there right into exercise, which for me is walking or doing some kind of fun dancing. So what could you do to shift your routine every day to carve out time for creative play? And remember, if you're feeling stuck at any time or you're listening to me talk and you're going, yeah, I get it, but I just, those stories are really strong. And you could use someone who has been there and done that to give you some reflection, to help you look at your calendar, or to really explore some of those creative scars and limiting beliefs. You can click Talk to Minette at any time. You'll be taken directly to a link to my calendar to sign up for a Breakthrough to Creative Courage consultation with me. I got a lot of C words in this video series, don't I? And I have to tell you, I don't take myself very seriously. So if you notice throughout the series, there's probably been a few errors and mistakes along the way. And this is what creative play has done for me. It's allowed me and taught me how to let go of perfectionism. So if you're feeling stuck, even after watching these videos, let's talk. And if you want to watch the whole series first and then decide, I will see you in video 5, where I'm going to share with you a really fun process called the Courageous Creative Journey Map. It's a process I've taken hundreds of people through to help you get that clarity and that congruence, create that clear course of action so that you can create consistency. It's a lot of fun, much better when done with crayons and markers. So I will see you in video 5 with the final step of our process and your Courageous Creative Journey Map. I'll see you there.